I do have the one. I do have the one time that someone didn't, and I think about it all the time.
What happened? Oh God!
I think about this all the time. I was going to go pick up a pizza from Little Caesars.
The hot and ready.
Hot and ready.
That hot and ready.
Got me a hot and ready. I'm about to go smash out at the crib. I get the box. I go into my car, and I'm trying to put the box on my front seat, but the box hits my arm handle, and it's kind of tipped, and the pizza kind of is like trying to slip out the box.
Slide out the box.
So I can't fix it, so I go out. So I'm trying to just go get some help to fix this box. There's two women that are outside. They're talking to each other, and I'm like, "Excuse me, ma'am, would you mind helping me fix this pizza box?" And the lady looks at me, and she goes back to talk to her friend. I'm like, "Oh, she didn't hear me." Excuse me, miss. Can you mind helping me? Like, I got I dropped this pizza, and I don't want it to fall. You mind, like, help me? And she's like, "No," like, said no right to my. I'm like, oh my God, it hurt my heart.
What?
So I'm like,
said no.
Straight no. And I'm parked right in front of like the Little Caesars. So then I'm going back toward the Little Caesars, and this guy is walking out the store. I'm like, oh, bet. He gonna help me.
Yeah.
Hey, my dog. Hey, bro.
No.
Hey, you mind helping me with this? Hey, man, nah, I can't help you. Walks and joins the ladies. And they all.
What the? Who are these people?
Who are these people?
Who are y'all, bro? Oh my God!
This is the beginning of my villain arc because I'm
a
just
group
like,
of demons, bro.
What? Like, so I'm like just staring at them. I'm looking at them like, so y'all gonna do this to me? So I'm just waiting, and then finally, like, this family walks by, and I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, you mind if I can get some help? And then one of the kids like, I want to help you. Like, what do you need? And this little 8-year-old kid comes and helps me with my box. I go home, and I'm trying to eat this hot and ready pizza. But the only thing that's hot and ready is me.
It's you.
I'm eating it, and it's not even. I can't even enjoy it because all I can think
pizza
about
don't even taste good no more.
It's cold. It has been sitting out the box. All I can think about is this woman had a chance to save my hot and ready, and she looked me in the windows of my soul and said, "No."
No.
Oh man. And I had to, I have to remind myself that just because I remember that one no doesn't mean that I shouldn't remember the thousands of yeses that people have given me.
Yeah.
But I use that because I just know that that's how pain works.
Yeah.
There's good in this world, but sometimes the pain in it will cause us to focus on the pain more than the good. Mm-hmm. And I have to remember that our brains are wired to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, she had
that makes me mad for you. That is a funny story, but that makes me mad for you.
Oh, she had me hot and ready.
I can only imagine.
Who are these people?
For real.
I can close my eyes and still see
their faces.
See their faces.
Ooh,
again,
boy. Was this in Tulsa too?
Man, right down there on 71st and Lewis, 81st and Lewis.
I'm finna go camp out. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find them. It was you, bitch.
Oh,
I'm
man.
gonna find them. Oh,
still
man,
see the guy. Just can't believe you do that to me.
So, man. So after you, whenever you get through with those surgeries and stuff like that, and like the doctors are telling you, like, hey, you might be, paralyzed forever. Is that something that you immediately was like, oh, dang, like this is set in stone? Or was that something that you were like, I'm not taking that,
So in the hospital, I wasn't taking it.
Yeah.
So, and that helped and hurt in some regards because, you go through the stages of grief and denial is one of them. And so I'm kind of in a level of denial while I'm in the hospital, but that denial is helping me like work out in the hospital. It's helping me like, wake up, hit the therapies, hit the rehab, like eat, rest, repeat, wake up, repeat. And while it helped in that time I was in the hospital, when it was time for me to leave the hospital, like it made leaving that much harder because now is when like life really
is about to start.
It's starting like because in the hospital I've got doctors and nurses and
everybody there.
Everything's there. Everything is there at the push of a button. Now it's like I'm out the hospital and it's like people have stopped coming to visit. Like I got to deal with it.
How long were you in the hospital for?
4 months.
4 months.
So 4 months when I had the total time four and a half months total time of like injury to getting released. And then getting released, it's like, all right, I was ready to do everything, but now it's really settling in that I'm on a journey. Like, yo, this ain't finna be like, oh, I'm about to just return to football.
Yeah.
And because I really thought like, okay, because I called that coach. They called me. I was like, hey, coach, this is what happened, but I'm coming. Like, I'm gonna get through this hospital time, and I'm coming.
Yeah.
And he's just like, focus on your recovery.
Yeah.
And the craziest things I tell people, like, it's like I put my life on a shelf that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pick this thing back up when I get done with this hospital thing. And I get done with the hospital thing, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna pick this thing back up when I figure out this life thing. And as I'm like living life, I'm watching my old life expire on the shelf. Yeah. Like, and it's like, oh, there is no going back to my life. So then I've got to adjust in my mentality then, because it's like, okay, how do I? What was sucking for me was that I hadn't let go of my past life. Right. And holding on to that was affecting my current place. Ability to to even be present and plan a future. Okay. Because how do you plan a future if you're looking backwards?
You're stuck in the past. Yeah.
And so once I realized, like, all right, football's not coming back. The life the way I knew it is not coming back. How do I embrace the life that I'm currently living, and how do I plan from this point that I'm going to make, I'm going to live my best life. Right. And man, again, it took me a couple of years of just kind of sitting in that like space of like obscurity. There's nobody that I was in front of. There's nobody, like I started working with the youth group maybe a year after my injury, but outside of that, it was just like, it's me trying to serve and be a good human. And then it was like, okay, in 2009, the worst thing that's probably ever happened to me, like personally, outside of like someone close to me passing away, the worst thing that's happened to me has happened. How do I make each year better than the next year? And I took inventory. Like, all right, 2010 was better than 2009 for what reason? Right. 2011 is better than 2010 for what reason? Right. And I continue, and I do this still to this day. At the end of the year, I do a year review and a year preview of like, all right, how was this year better than last? Because I feel if I can build from where I was at rock bottom, by the end of my life, I will have built like up to a great life. Yeah, and every year is better than the last.
Of course,
and
can't complain. Yeah,
because I have my review preview process, that allows me to like track and keep me. It allows me to be present in my year and be open to the things that are available that are good and that I don't miss what good is happening. I stay in a level of gratitude. Like, heck, being on this podcast will show up on my year review at the end of this year, and I'm gonna love it because I hadn't done a podcast in a minute, and like and this is a dope podcast.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Like I'm enjoying being here. Yeah. And so I know that this year is already shaping up to be one of my best years ever. Yeah. I'm writing a book right now. I'm working with the United Way right now. I'm doing a lot of stuff right now that are all to set me up for the next 2 years even. Right. And so I already know the next 2 years are going to be like good years because of this year.
Because of this year,
it all set up, man.
Right. So, and you've talked about like being in those dark spots and stuff like that. What during those times, like especially in the beginning, was like self-harm ever something that kind of came into your mind, and how did you kind of navigate those thoughts if they did?
Self-harm in its own ways, like, I hit my legs, like just trying to feel something. Yeah. And then there was more so the thoughts of like, am I supposed to even be on this earth? Like, is this the end all be all? And I would just combat those thoughts with like, well, I'm here for a reason. Yeah. Like, and that was kind of more so my like dialogue was like, it would go from what reason am I here for? Like, why am I here? To I got to be here for a reason. Like, because I could have died, but I didn't. So I got to be here for a reason. Right. And so I kind of just leaned into that, like, and leaned into making the best of a bad situation. But like not necessarily like, the self-harm as far as, there are things that I think a lot of people that are, paralyzed would tell you that they have done as far as like, taking, probably poking self. Like, I really can't feel this, huh? Like, and then it's like, okay, I need a Band-Aid. I went a little bit too far.
Have you seen that Talladega Nights?
Just like that. Just like that. Like, you are not paralyzed.
Yeah. I'm not paralyzed. I'm not. I can feel it.
Just like that, man. So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, but it's that mental space is really tough to navigate sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when things got super quiet. There was a lot of noise at first because, again, there's a lot of people come in to check in. And then the first day that my phone don't go off, not a notification on Facebook, Instagram, not a ring.
Mm-hmm.
That moment was like a thought came in. It was like, yo, did I just like disappear off the phone? Yeah, did everybody just forgot about me?
Yeah.
And man, I felt forgotten for a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time. But then it was like, all right, I'm about to come out. I have to have a come out party. Like, let me fight for some of this independence. Let me fight for, like, I know that I'm better than the moment that I find myself in. And so what can I do to move off of this spot?